Fania.
Hello, my name is Fania. Please clap your hands if you came here by yourself. Yes, I'm not the only one. Woo! Yeah, I actually was supposed to have a date tonight, but I'll tell you about that a little later. That didn't happen. So, maybe about 2011, what was that, like 3-4 years ago, I wrote a song a couple of weeks before Valentine's Day called No Valentine. It was like this. I ain't got no Valentine, no Valentine that I can call mine. I pretend like it's fine, 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 as I sit and drink my red, red wine. I am feeling so alone, 'cause I ain't got no one to phone. I'll make it through this night all on my own, as I moan and groan. Sadly, that song holds true still, and has been since I wrote that song. And I guess like the whole ex thing started out kind of, it had a bad start. My first boyfriend, we were together 4.5 years when I was 17, and we kind of broke up because the problem is that he ruined sex for me. Now, you might think, oh, great, he had a big cock. No, it was not a good thing. It was painful, okay? I loved the guy, but sex fucking hurt, you know? And so when I was trying to like explain that to him, he tried to convince me rather, to have one of those surgeries that like older women have where their uterus is lifted. Now, lacking so much self-esteem, I almost considered it. But then eventually I broke up with him. But thank you, I had a little bit of self-esteem. Now, the big X was the ex-husband. So, I met this guy in Greece, and he was friends with my brothers, which I should have known was a bad sign already, for me and my brothers. And I thought I fell in love with him. He was so sweet, he was so nice. And we got married, we actually got eloped, because being Greek, my family's a little racist. I knew they wouldn't like that he's Albanian, so there's a little bit of tension there. So I got eloped. I thought that was a smart thing. I would be like all carefree, me being like all independent and different. So anyways, things were going pretty well, but there were some signs that showed that maybe this wouldn't turn out so well. Number one, he was a hairdresser, and he used to tell me, oh, I hate cutting your hair, you have pig's hair. And I was like, oh God, I never thought of that. I mean, I know I have a bit curly hair, but... And then the other thing, and this was a little traumatizing, although now I've gotten over it. He was like, ew, your laugh, it's so ugly. And I was like, and it is ugly, I know, I admit it, I know. But I was like, but wait a second, I never thought of that. It doesn't come to me to go, hee, and have like a pretty laugh, right? So, anyway, long story short, I bring him to this country. Turns out my parents were right. It was a bad idea. He used me for papers, clearly used me for papers. That's okay. Anyone, as the gentleman before me, knows divorce is tough. Divorce is tough. So once you go through divorce, you go through a slew of exes. Go through a slut phase, like I like to call it. So I went through my slut phase, because previously to that I didn't have a slut phase. It was like, you know, all boyfriends and whatever. First there was New York. Anyone who's lived in New York? Raise your hand if you live in New York. Okay, well in New York, it's like, no man is going to be your boyfriend. They will do anything to not be your boyfriend. So, clearly I've not learned my lesson. You think that when you file away your exes, that you burn the file. Well, one of my boyfriends when I was in New York was a Brazilian immigrant who literally decided to come inside of me without asking me. And I was like, yeah, didn't learn my lesson there. But the truth of the matter is, I did learn my lesson slowly. I did learn my lesson. When I was in Istanbul, and I was teaching in Istanbul, you quickly learned that the men wanted, if you had dinner with them, that meant you were supposed to have sex with them. I didn't know that. I didn't know that if you buy me dinner. But literally I had like 4 different men be like, but I bought you dinner! And I was like, Does that mean I have to have sex with you? Okay, that's okay. Then when I moved to Barcelona, well, I thought here, I'm in my element, I'm gonna meet some Spanish hot guy. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. Lots of exes there, but then I was like, wait a second, how am I gonna see this story? I don't really have a lot of exes, because I can't even get, just like you, I can't even get a third date here. So ever since I moved to Philadelphia about 3 years ago, I'm like, literally going first date, second date, maybe, if I'm lucky, third date. And recently, I met a guy, really good-looking guy, at karaoke. I'm a karaoke fiend. So I was at karaoke, and this guy approaches me. He's older. He's like 48. I'm 34. For those of you looking for the sex, just kidding. And I'm really excited because he's like a good-looking guy. Ends up, he's very successful. But then he tells me a sob story about his divorce. And I can tell, and I was like, yo, I've been around. I was like, please do not use me for companionship and then throw me away, okay? Because I know what the deal is. So we're going out day after day after day. It's looking good. I'm like, this guy could be the one. This could be the guy, you know? He was the one that introduced me to the StorySlam. So I am grateful for that. And then about date 13, my birthday's approaching. Oh, dun dun dun, and Thanksgiving. And so suddenly the texts just completely dwindle. And he's like, yeah, I can't take you out on your birthday. I have a business thing. I'm like, well, he'll take me out for a drink after his business thing. I knew he was busy. I've been busy too. And he doesn't. And then I had still invited him to my group thing that I did 2 days after my birthday. And he dumped me that day after dinner. It's okay, no, it's a good thing, This is the moral of the story. So, I was devastated, but I was also like, okay, I'm used to this is all good, you know, whatevs, you know, life goes on, blah, blah, dee, blah, da. And then I had this plan to say this story at the StorySlam, and I was gonna sing my song, and I whine, but I ain't got no Valentine. But then I meet this guy last week at this club, and we're like dancing, and we're really getting our groove on, and like I'm drunk, I'm piss drunk. I normally don't get that drunk, and we kiss, and there's like sparks, and I'm so excited. And he asked for my number. And I'm like, yeah, right, he's never gonna call me. I know this spiel, you know, he's not gonna text me. But he's like texting me up the wazoo. We even phone call each other. We're talking on the phone, and he's like, but here's the problem. I'm unemployed. I really can't take you on like a proper date. And I'm like, of course you can. But then he's like, well, let's figure out a date. We could just go for a simple drink. And he's like, how about Friday? And I'm like, oh, Friday, that's Valentine's Day. And he's like, that's okay. And he's very sweetly, he's like, will you be my Valentine? And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. I'm like, I haven't had a Valentine in I don't even know, 6 years. I mean, my anniversary was Valentine's Day, but that was back in 2007, the last time. So I was like, yes, I have a Valentine's Day. I'm like, you kind of ruined my plan for my story, because hence the song, No Valentine. But okay, I'll go with the flow. I'm excited. I actually have a Valentine's Day. I'm like, yay! And then, the week is going by, I call him, I'm trying to make the finalized plans just in case I was on the wait list here. I was like, just in case we don't get into this venue, we'll do something else. I call him, he doesn't answer. Then I text him, he doesn't answer. Last night, I'm like, last ditch effort, I'm trying to be cool, I'm like to be accountable for plans, So I text him, and I'm like, hope you're safe and warm in the snow. Lame-o response. He's like, definitely, I'll call you tomorrow. And then, ladies, you understand this. This morning, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take matters in my own hand. I texted him, I said, good morning, feel free to call me. Just so you know, I made other plans. I lied. I pretended like I had friends, I don't. I was like, I made other plans with my friends. And, so you never called me. I didn't want to be ditched again on Valentine's Day. So let's go out another day. but please call me around 3:30 p.m. So, ladies and gentlemen, I filed those X's away. I took matters in my own hands and came here by myself, like I normally do. I go out by myself all the time. And I love the way I spent my Valentine's Day, and you know what? He never called me back. I don't fucking care. Cause I ain't got no Valentine, and maybe I will, but I don't give a shite.